So there's a lot of devices out there that you can choose from, obviously, but you gotta find something that's within your budget. So we're making this series, this is gonna be the best under $25, not too expensive, but how far can you really stretch your buck? Let's find out. So the best one so far you can buy under $25 has to go to the Artery Pal 2. So before we compare this to a bunch of other devices and tell you why it's the best, let's do a quick little rundown on this device so we know what we're working with. So you pop the side off, and when you're looking inside, you see the pod, which is pretty cool that it's actually like held in place by the door. So if you drop this device, you don't have to worry about the pod falling out, which I really like.
Inside there has adjustable airflow, which I think is cool, but also a little inconvenient that's actually inside the pod where you have to pop off the wall of it to adjust your airflow versus a lot of systems where they have their airflow on the outside.
And attached to that adjustable airflow is an actual coil that you slide inside the pod, which I kind of appreciate over having an actual pod that you throw away. So that way you can like reuse your pod, cut down on cost, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of companies are doing this nowadays where it's a pod system, but you do replace the coil within the pod, which seems to be bringing down pod or / coil prices.
The last thing to say about the pod is the way you fill it up. It has a little flap on the side. With this design, it's not the best design in my opinion, but I haven't experienced any leaking, which I mean is a major pro about that.
It's going to be less likely to leak because if the juice is below that level, unless you have it turned sideways, it's not going to be even coming in contact with the seal.
So let's put the door back on it, and what's cool, it has a magnet, it just goes right on, and we'll move to the front. My favorite part about this whole exterior is the button. I like a device that has a button on it, but what sucks most often about buttons is if it's in your pocket, you could accidentally fire it.
Yeah, but this one kind of has the button inlaid where it's not going to be coming out that far, actually at all. It's flat with the actual device, so it's going to be difficult to actually press that button in your pocket.
Yeah, and that's a major pro about this device. You still get the functionality of a button, but you won't have to worry about it firing in your pocket.
Other things, it's got a 3 milliliter pod, a little bigger than average, and a 1000 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty solid.
Now let's take a couple hits off this device to see what kind of performance it puts out. Here, you can hit it. One thing I noticed right away is right when you hit it to the throat, you know, you can kind of feel it, and one thing that's really exceptional, I think, is the flavor response. I mean, we have a pretty strong juice in there, but it tastes pretty good. What do you think, Nate?
It does taste good. It tastes really good, and it's got a lot of airflow options, which I like. It can be very wide open, straight to the lung. You can get it mouth to lung, which I don't like, but I like the fact that you can do straight to lung, and you can get it pretty, heavy in there. So that's dope to me, and it's got great flavor.
So that's a brief overview of the device itself. Now let's compare it to some devices that are comparable to it within this price range. So the first one we can compare it to in this price range has to be the Innokin EQ. I like the Artery 2 better than the Innokin EQ for a couple reasons. One, the EQ's pod, when it burns out, you gotta throw away the pod. And a big deal about that is the pod doesn't actually last very long. If you remember from our reviews, it burned out really quick, and I was not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this device, kind of period.
Yeah.
There wasn't much going for it in general. So, I mean, the Artery Pal is by far and away every section of the device.
Right. From flavor to battery life to hit, yeah, it's way better.
Even button, everything.
Yeah.
Literally entirely.
Even button, yeah. Like down in the nitty gritty. All right, next.
Next we got an oldie. It's a Novo. Classic. Basically, it's worthless.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Novo, you know about it, and what's weird about the Novo is when it came out, it was excellent.
It was great.
We've had a lot of evolution since it came out, and yeah, it's pretty much worthless.
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point to buy this device. It's got good flavor. It's got smart coils, kind of fucks you over.
Smart coils are
leaking problems. Yeah. Small ass battery. No button, which is cool. I like no button a lot, but also won't get you that directly, strong hit right away. No airflow options whatsoever, and no power options. None of that.
Next, the most comparable unit to the Artery Pal would have to be the Soren Edge. The Soaring Edge is really cool because it's got the uniqueness factor with the removable battery and whatnot and USB-C. But when it comes down to use and like the way it just works, really the flavor, this thing spits a lot first and foremost. And then when you get past that, the flavor isn't as good. And overall, just like durability and build quality of the unit is just not on par with the Artery Pal 2.
Yeah, the only cool thing this has the only thing that's cooler about the Edge compared to the Artery Pal 2 is that you get 2 batteries with it that you can replace whenever you want, which means in the end of the day, you have more battery overall. Each battery is smaller, but combined, it's more.
Exactly.
You can also charge while also using the pod. So.
And the final unit we're going to compare this one to is the Renovo Zero. We don't have a unit to show you on camera right now. We gave them away, but I mean, if you saw any of our reviews on that device, the hit on it just is not as strong. It's not strong at all, and the flavor on it, I guess, is okay, but it's still muted compared to this. And I'm not a big fan of that
the Renovo
device.
Zero is worse than all the other devices we just compared this to. So
the only real pro that the Renovo Zero has going for it, on par with the Artery, is that it does not leak, and that's just because of the filling mechanism that the Renovo has is pretty nice. You've seen it copied on a couple other different devices, but it does not match up to this. I mean, it's fully like sealed within the device, and you're not gonna have any issues, which I really dig.
Yeah. I want to remind you guys, this is under $25.
Right.
Yes, there are plenty of devices out there that are above $25. There's a lot in the $30 range.
And we'll probably do a video on those too.
We will, but this is going to be the lowest we go for pricing for best pod systems. So this is the best bang for your buck below $25.
Right, and if you don't have too much money, this is definitely the category for you. This device, as far as like you have an initial investment up front, $25.
Not even you don't have that much money. Like you might be loaded. Who cares if you're not willing to put in more than $25 into your system, then this is going to be the one for you. On top of that, like if you're a newer vaper or something like that, where you don't want to throw down a whole bunch of money on a system that you don't even know, like I might not even quit cigarettes or whatever, or I don't want to do nicotine, you never know. So yeah, this is going to be the one for you if you're not trying to spend too much money.
Exactly. And that pretty much wraps it up for the whole video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think about this kind of style of videos. I think this is going to be a keeper. But let us know. And while you're down there letting us know, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and turn on post notifications or else. And until next time, guys, peace out.